Welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Isaiah 17:10 reads, "Because thou hast forgotten the God of thy salvation, and hast not been mindful of the rock of thy strength, wherefore shalt thou plant pleasant plants, and shall set it with strange slips." While these words have useful applications to our own times, sometimes it is helpful to know more about the situation the prophet was addressing when he spoke to them. The original application was to Judah's alliance with Damascus, which Isaiah was instructed of God to prophesy against. He saw that it would only precipitate the Assyrian invasion, as in fact it did. Judah had forsaken God, and because they had done so, they had gone to seek for themselves delights, which is a word used to refer to their coalition with Damascus. The image of planting a garden of pleasures and vine slips of a stranger refers to sensuous idolatry as well as to the entangling alliance. Then follows a description of the rapid growth of this treaty or alliance and of the care with which Israel cultivated it, using language that reflects God's disapproval of what they had done. "In a day thou makest thy plant to grow, or fencest it, and next morning it was in blossom. So industriously had they nursed and fostered it." Then comes the bitter contrast of what inevitable consequence would be, a harvest heap in the day of sickness and incurable pain. Notice the sin Isaiah charged to erring Judah. It was nothing they did so much as what they had not done. "Thou hast forgotten." How natural and easy it is for any of us to fall into that trap. All it takes is over-involvement in the busy, demanding cares of life, a few cases of Sunday morning flu, a few days without time to talk to God or ponder His Word, neglecting family worship. Spirituality begins to seep away. Pressure in the world is constant. Busy mothers have little hands pulling on their apron strings. Phones ring constantly. Demands arise suddenly that must be met. We may not be able to change any of that, but we must not let our souls go unrefreshed by contact with God and His people. Judah had fallen into a trap because she loved what she thought was safety more than she loved God, and the jaws of that snare open widely before us all. Isaiah also said, "Thou hast not been mindful of the rock of thy strength." Rock is the grand Old Testament name of God. It is a very graphic description of what He is in being Himself and what He is to those who trust Him. He is the granite-like, unchangeable stability of those who trust Him. David called God the rock that is higher than I. He was able to have lifted the fearful Jews above themselves to encourage in them a hope for deliverance from enemy threats from a better source than making leagues with their enemies, which were sure to view their weakness as an invitation to subjugate and ruin them, as in fact they did. What a contrast between the safe munitions of rocks and the unprotected false security of those Damascene gardens. What fools to leave the heights where their strongholds were to come down into the plains. And how typical it is for Satan to press you and me to do the same thing. As Moses told his people, "Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise?" The full title Isaiah used for the Almighty is Rock of thy strength and God of thy salvation. The word from which salvation is translated means, among other things, happiness. So Judah sought her happiness in Syria's pleasant plants, or among the hope of security from warfare, and the fleshly delights of a licentious, idol-worshipping lifestyle. The results brought her neither happiness nor peace. She fell into an old trap, one the devil would like to spring on you. Your soul was not designed to be fulfilled in things that come from the pit of darkness. How wiser to hear the plea of the Son of God with His beautiful invitation, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." He is able to keep that which you commit unto Him against all the Syrians in Damascus and all the devils in hell. Have you talked to Him today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.